18 games off the pace, and we are set for the introduction of our starting lineups.
Here tonight's starting lineup. First for the Pistons. At guard at 6'3" from McNeese State, number 4, Joe Dumars. At guard at 6'6" from Tennessee, number 20, Allen Houston. At forward at 6'8" from Duke, number 33, Grant Hill. At forward at 6'10" from Providence, number 50, Otis Thorpe. And at center at 6'10" from Old Dominion, number 41, Mark West. Trainer is Mike Abdinor. Assistant coaches, Alan Gentry, Ryan James, and John Hammond. And the head coach, Doug Collins. From Tennessee State, number 14, Anthony Mason. At forward at 6'9" from Virginia Union, number 34, Tri-Captain Charles Oakley. And at center at 7 feet from Georgetown, number 33, Tri-Captain Patrick Ewing. The head trainer is Mike Saunders. The assistant trainer, Tim Walsh. Assistant coaches, Jeff Van Gundy, Don Cheney, Bob Salmi, and Jeff Nix. And the head coach of the Knicks, Don Nelson.
And for the Detroit Pistons, a difficult matchup at center with Mark West and the 6'8" rookie Don Reed going up against Patrick Ewing. Earlier, Michael Kay talked about this with Detroit coach Doug Collins.
Creates a tough matchup. If you put a smaller player on him, he posts him. If you double team, he frees up now the three-point shooters. If you put a bigger player on him, he can step out and shoot the ball, and he can put it on the floor. So Patrick has become such a versatile player. He's a very difficult matchup. And I think if you look at the Knicks as a whole, you throw in Anthony Mason and Oakley, and the strength of their team is their power. And what you have to be able to do is you have to sort of be able to stand toe-to-toe with these guys and rebound and do the little things and be able to space the floor and use your quickness so that they have to guard you out on the floor. And then you have to make shots. If you don't shoot well, you will not beat this team.
Even though Doug Collins' team is 15 games ahead of where they were a year ago, he still bleeds when they don't play well. This is a man who will never be satisfied or a man who will ever accept defeat.
Patrick Ewing, who yesterday against the Pacers played in his 800th career game, getting set to go on the opening tip against Mark West, who is in the starting lineup. Don Reed had been the start of the Reed natural position. Eventually will be at power forward and had done a decent job, but it is West back in the starting lineup. Only his 11th start of the season. The officials, Jack Neese, Lee Jones, and Scott Foster. Ewing getting right to it.
Nice setup by John Starks, who while he drove had his head down, and I should say up, looking for Ewing.
John Starks coming off the volatile afternoon yesterday in Indiana.
It seemed, Marv, and you were there and close to the action, that John bore a greater burden for the outcome of that game than really was the case.
Joe Dumars, also back in the starting lineup, is able to tie it. Yes, you didn't have the idea that the Knicks were going to catch the Pacers, although you never know, but you read the papers today, particularly the back pages. Ewing giving the Knicks a 4-2 lead. You get the idea that was the reason the Knicks lost. A minute gone by. Mark West being played by Charles Oakley. And draws the foul. Oakley called for the block. Mark West in his 13th NBA season out of Old Dominion. 35 years old. He's played at Dallas, Milwaukee, Cleveland, Phoenix, 6.5 years with the Suns, and this is second year with Detroit. Most of his shot opportunities come from in close, so he is at just under 59% from the field, and as you saw, second all time in field goal shooting. The game is tied at 4. Mason try to post up on Hill, freeing up Ewing, and rebounded by Houston. Allen Houston has been playing well as of late. He's averaging just under 20 per game the last 37 games. Mason tried to break it up. West lost it. Good play by Starks, who knocked it out of his hands. It will be Detroit ball with 13 on the 24. The Detroit Pistons coming off a loss Saturday night at Sacramento, losing to the Kings 94-85. Houston able to penetrate and rebounded by Mason. Pistons opened that game the other night by missing 10 of their first 11 shots. Here's Oakley.
And then later in the game, when it was quite close early in the fourth quarter, they died and didn't score a field goal for a period of 10 minutes.
Here's Harper on a 4-on-3. Now the Pistons able to hurry and get back. Oakley. And you can hear the grumbling from the crowd. Offensive foul. Houston pushing off with the left hand.
After an afternoon with Reggie Miller, John Starks, of course, with substantial respect for Houston, still it should be a little easier job than it was yesterday, where John did a terrific job. Reggie Miller with only 2 field goals yesterday in Indiana.
Took only 7 shots. And several games back when the Pacers, West called for the holding foul. Pacers play the Pistons at the Palace in Auburn Hills. Miller took only 6 shots. That a surprising turnaround game as Detroit, without Grant Hill, beat Indiana by 17 points.
That was one of those rare nights which stopped a 7-game winning streak for Indiana.
Harper for 3. So it's a 7-4 Knick lead. The Pistons have lost 3 of their last 4. The one win in that stretch against the Detroit Pistons. Prior to that, they had won very impressive victories in the Texas trip at San Antonio and at Dallas. 3-second violation, the call.
Pistons are hoping the reappearance of Joe Dumars now in only his 7th start of the season in tonight's game can get some scoring. Joe in his 11th season now, which appears to be his last, Marv, is straining, going through ups and downs, mainly due to injury, but they really need scoring from Joe.
Joe has had back problems right throughout the year. Nice touch by Mason. Knicks 9 and the Pistons 4. Now Grant Hill handling against Anthony Mason.
Grant originates the offense for the Pistons much of the time. Mentioning the comparison to Scottie Pippen, much in that same kind of role, and that's why he's such a dominant player, because he has the ability to do that.
Illegal defense call for the first time against the Knicks. Hill met by Ewing. Here's Thorpe. The tip missed by West. Knicks in a stretch playing 5 out of 6 games at home. And Mason will go to the line. Knicks back here on Wednesday against the Bullets. And that will lead to the All-Star break. Hill called for the foul. Anthony Mason at the line for 2.
It's a very difficult night, I would think, for Grant Hill. I can remember his earlier visits here to the Garden, matched up against Mason, and the physicality of the 2 guys is so much in favor of Mason, and as tough as Hill is at the offensive end, it's a night of bruises when he has to deal with the likes of Anthony Mason's strength.
A crack statistician, Eric Merlis, who is a regular Scrabble player, John, just challenging you on the word physicality. I said there is such a word.
Must be right then.
Substitute free throw.
Was Eric's PhD in English literature has nothing to do with it.
Oh, now we're getting a little angry?
No, I'm just suggesting Eric's background doesn't work here tonight.
Are you saying that you would prefer not hearing his comments?
Yes.
Is that the underlying?
No, actually, I would like to hear them on the air.
4 minutes gone by, and the Knicks with a 10-4 lead on the Pistons. Here's West, and the rebound swept by Ewing. The Knicks have won 4 straight and 10 of the last 11 against Detroit. They won 7 straight here at the Garden against the Pistons. John Starks. So the Knicks with a 12-4 advantage, and it leads to a Doug Collins timeout.
Right there, you can see everybody focusing on him on the Pistons. Patrick does the right thing. Look at the time Harper had. He also had the presence of Charles Oakley there standing in front of him to protect him even further. Harper with a lot of shooting time cans that 3. The New York Marriott Marquis, Broadway's biggest hit. Well, the Knicks back home like the feel for Madison Square Garden right now, and the visiting Pistons are not having fun while shooting 1 for 7.
8-0 run by the Knicks, and they are up 12-4. Both clubs remaining the same following the timeout. Otis Thorpe going at Patrick Ewing, and just did get the bottom of the glass. Starks accelerates. He beat Houston, and he drew the foul. Mark West reaching in, trying to help. Is called for the foul for West, his second, and Starks to the line.
Nice to see John Starks bounce back from yesterday's disappointing performance as far as the focus on him. His play, however, wasn't bad, and it gained the applause, so to speak, of Don Nelson, who noted John's improvement. John had a pretty solid game. He's kind of bouncing back from low moments here over the last month or so, and the confidence that Don Nelson has shown in John Starks seems to be indicated by his spirited play here in the first quarter.
Knicks with a 13-4 lead. In that earlier meeting here at the Garden mid-December, Knicks beating the Pistons 86-82. Detroit had a 9-point first quarter. They've managed only 4 points the first 5 minutes here. Dumars sending it back out for Houston, but again a 3-second violation.
Boy, what a statement about defense when a guy like Dumars penetrates, gets inside the foul line, and can't deliver the ball forward any further and has to pitch it back out.
Harper and Starks at the guards. Ewing, Oakley, Mason up front. Ewing bottled up and fouled. Jack Neese, the baseline official, with the call on Thorpe. Doug Collins taking a walk along the sideline, very upset with the Piston start.
He's seething about their inability to contain Ewing when he puts the ball on the floor. You know he wants him to steal the ball, deflect it from Patrick, which means they have to come at him quicker.
According to Matt Dobeck, the Pistons publicity director, Doug these days going with the MTV look.
Doug Marv, I had a nice chat with him last time he was in town, hates ties. And that's his statement. It's his anti-tie statement.
Very unconventional guy when he was on television, forced to wear the tie. Has not gone to the V-neck sweater look as you have, though, John. Thorpe with the facial. John Starks got a kick out of it, although he was not looking to be posterized, so he was running away.
He did take it well.
Yeah. 13-6 Knicks. Here's Starks. And back come the Pistons. Houston running the floor. Here is Thorpe working hard. Nice move by Otis Thorpe. It is now Thorpe up front, along with Hill and Reed. Don Reed, the rookie from Georgetown, replacing Mark West. Offensive foul. It's on Mason. Doug Collins of the Pistons making the transition back to coaching from television, has the final say in all personnel matters. Remember, at 35 years of age, he was head coach of the Chicago Bulls, following an all-star career with the Philadelphia 76ers.
Doug spent 3 years with Chicago and now has put an imprint on the Pistons already now, with the vast improvement over last year.
Starks off the head fake. Well, John Starks has hit 2 of 3 from the field. Knicks with a 15-8 lead. Houston came off the pick. He has the beautiful stroke. Allen Houston in his 3rd season from Tennessee.
There's all-star talent in Houston's body at 6'6", a 2 guard who can shoot the ball from all over.
Ewing. And here's Hill on the run. Hill with the change of pace dribble drew the foul. Foul committed by Starks. At the start, we were talking about that injured right wrist of Grant Hill, and it turns out the Pistons very happy that on further examination it is soft tissue damage. The Pistons first thought it was broken, and it is an old injury that they feel goes back to his college days at Duke, but they say he's all right. Grant Hill played in 3 Final Fours at Duke University, the ACC Player of the Year as a senior. Knicks 15, Pistons 11. Just under 5 minutes remaining in the first. Starks trying to clear it out. Moved Oakley away. I don't think Charles was thrilled with that direction as he heads to the right baseline.
Well, they were going to a basic offensive setup with Mason to target, and Oakley had his man there.
Harper just beating the 24-second clock. One stretch, Knicks at 9 unanswered points. Pistons have come back with a 7-2 run. Here's Mason off the turnover. Oakley back for Mason. Had it knocked away by Thorpe. Here's Hill. And it brings the Pistons within 2. This is the 3rd of 4 meetings between these two clubs. The Knicks winning in Detroit on opening night back on November 3rd, 106-100, and then the win here at the Garden December 16th. Mason, well, that's a move we have rarely seen. A little spin, angle jump shot.
Spinning jumper. Mason showed the jumper to Orlando here in their last visit and did well. That's an important aspect to his development if he can continue the jump shooting.
Nice pass from Hill. Foul committed by Ewing against fellow Georgetown alum Don Reed. And for Ewing, his first. Charlie Ward, who has not seen action the last couple of games, with early entrance here, replacing Derek Harper, leaves with 3 points. So Don Reed, who was the last player chosen in the draft, a 2nd-round pick, a defensive geared player. He actually, John, you look at his record, he averaged 7 points a game as a junior and a senior, averaging about 3.5 per game, and he has been starting at center. Only a 64% free throw shooter. Knicks lead 17-13.
Doug Collins loves Don Reed, and he refers, when he states that, to his competitive, his intensity and his desire. He just wants to get better, and he never stops working.
Ewing. Patrick Ewing trying to do it without the dribble, starting from the foul line. Dumars over Ward. Ewing battling for the rebound. Yesterday against the Pacers, Don Nelson went with only 7 players. Talking about an 8-man rotation, he just used 2 players off the bench. Travel violation. And the ball goes back to the Pistons. But first, a timeout with 2:25 remaining. First quarter. Is that Linda Fiorentino, John?
I believe it was, Mark.
Yes, in the crowd. You never know who you'll run into.
Joe Dumars, now I was saying earlier, now in his 11th season, getting his 6th start of the year with the slumping Lindsey Hunter, not starting for the first time this season. Joe, actually talking to his coach in their last visit here, it was indicated by Doug Collins that this would be Joe's last season. He feels his body can't go another year, although there is nothing official from Detroit on that subject, but that was Doug's opinion. You look at Joe's 10-year career, 17 points a game, excellent shooter, particularly from long range, 2 championships, part of the dynamite backcourt with Isaiah Thomas and Vinnie Johnson. And this year the numbers are way down, and that's expected.
Joe Dumars, the last remaining player from the back-to-back championship teams of the late 1980s. So the Knicks with a 17-15 lead. Charles Smith on the floor for the first time. Smith, Ewing, Mason up front. Starks, Ward in the backcourt. Illegal screen out of bounds, the call. And that is not a personal foul. Here comes Lindsey Hunter, who was out of the starting lineup for the first time this season. Had a good one 2 games back against the Pacers. Did not play well against Sacramento the other night. So Hunter has come off the bench here this evening.
You look at Hunter's size and ability to handle the ball, you say point guard. And unfortunately, it hasn't worked that well for him as a point guard. He's emerged more as a shooting guard.
Lindsey Hunter guarding Charlie Ward.
Hunter is 6'2".
Ewing with the spin. Beautiful move by Patrick Ewing. He has 6 points. Knicks 19, Pistons 15.
Very tough job for Don Reed at 6'8", and that's why Ewing could shoot right over him.
Thorpe, pretty move, went to the sweeping right hand on Smith.
Thorpe looks like he's playing with a lot of energy tonight, which is a real problem for the Knicks because he's got a lot of ability.
Ward trying to lead Smith, who was not expecting the pass. So the Pistons get it back. 5th turnover committed by the Knicks in this first quarter. Allen Houston getting the pick from Otis Thorpe. Hunter passed on the 3. That has been a specialty, and then goes last to tie the game at 19. So the Pistons able to regroup after having problems early. Ewing with the pass picked off by Hill. And they'll hold for a final shot this first quarter. We're down to 10 seconds. And Hill will set it up. 5 seconds. Doug Collins said, okay, you can start the move. Thorpe. So after 1 here at the Garden, it's the Knicks and the Pistons tied at 19.
In this game,
into the whole magic of the Garden thing.
This is a mecca for basketball. Everybody knows that, and we're excited about playing here, and hopefully every year we play Fordham here and we get down into the city and play basketball because it's important for us.
The one thing we know is you're not recruiting tonight. Good to see you, Coach.
Just enjoying it.
Back to you, Mark.
All right, Al, second quarter underway. Otis Thorpe committing the foul. Marv Albert, John Andres, Al Troutwood. Walt Clyde Frazier will be on hand at halftime. Game is tied at 19. The Knicks 8 of 16 from the field in the first quarter. Detroit 7 for 18. Substitution Michael Curry, a recent addition. to the Piston roster, signed when Mark Macon went down with an injury. Michael Curry on the floor for the first time, as is Theo Ratliff, who just committed that foul. Theo Ratliff had a good one in the Pistons' last game against Sacramento. 13 rebounds, 10 points in 28 minutes.
Ratliff just gets in the game and starts muscling Charles Smith and commits the foul. Charles Smith has got to get more aggressive with his own team. He's got to let his team know he wants the basketball down low. With Ewing out now, he's going to look to take over.
Smith with a post-up move, and rebounded by Houston. Hubert Davis come on for the first time. Hunter putting the move on Davis, and Hunter able to hustle it, but he stepped down. Knicks now have Ward and Davis in the backcourt with Mason, Smith, and Oakley up front. Detroit with a smaller lineup on the floor. Nice pass, and Davis was pushed, so he'll go to the line. Yesterday, Pacers did an excellent job on Hubert Davis. Really had the raps on Hubert, who was not permitted to shoot from the outside. He's been on fire as of late, but he could not get the perimeter shots off.
Yes, he only had 5 shot attempts in 26 minutes. And as his tremendous play of late gets around the league, people are going to prepare for him more, as they do when you start turning heads with play, as Hubert has. And but Marv, he has the ability to drive the ball. He's doing better and better at that. He's just going to have to keep working and get more effective at that.
Hubert Davis has hit 16 of his last 21 from three-point range. Knicks lead 21-19. We are early second quarter. Dumars, and he was fouled. Doug Collins going with a combination of Dumars with Hunter and Curry. Curry at about 6'5", so he could be considered a small forward.
Anytime Grant Hill isn't in the lineup, though, there's great pressure on the other members of the Pistons to score.
This is Curry with the ball. Dumars drawing the double team, and Reed stepped out of bounds.
Very quick pickup by Charles Smith in denying room along the baseline, as the Pistons have had a lot of turndowns here at the offensive end. They can't get things going. The Knicks are very alert defensively and helping out well.
Here's Ward for 3. And rebounded by Ratliff. Theo Ratliff has had a number of good moments. First round pick out of Wyoming. Dumars not able to hit, but tipped home by Reed. Don Reed very quick around the basket.
Well, he's active, and that's what he's shown to Doug Collins, and that's why Collins likes him so much. He just keeps coming at you.
Game is tied at 21. Ward saw the opening and is walloped by Curry. Crowd reacts looking for a flagrant foul, but it will not be. And here's Terry Mills checking in for the first time.
Well, with Charlie's collegiate football career going the way it went, why, that was a little bump. No big deal for Charlie Ward, the former Heisman Trophy winner. He knew it was coming, too, and he protected himself. Shook it off.
Michael Curry, a big guy, 6'5", 210 pounds. He is on a 10-day contract with the Pistons. Played some of the past with the Bullets and the 76ers, but he's been all over the place. CBA, Germany, Belgium, Italy, Spain, USBL.
More bouncing than Anthony Mason.
Knicks lead 23-21.
Thinking the stories you could tell you, Marv, about the world of hoops.
Oakley called for the foul. That is his second. There are a number of players who have that kind of resume, and as you mentioned, Anthony Mason, who does have intriguing stories from his days playing basketball in Turkey. Travel call, traveling violation on Dumars.
That came about because Charles Oakley came running out to help on Dumars, and he made him move his pivot foot to escape the wrath of Charles Oakley.
7th turnover for the Pistons. Knicks with 6. 3 minutes in, second quarter. Smith played by Ratliff. Knicks trying to swing the ball. Smith with a beautiful handoff to Ward. So the Knicks now lead by 4.
That's good instinctive basketball by Smith and Ward.
Charlie Ward went flying on the back pedal as Hunter unleashed, and the pass fell short, intercepted by Curry. Again, Oakley tried to fire the outlet.
That went right to Don Nelson's stomach, too. He just rolled over kind of on the bench when he saw that pass.
Shot clock at 5. Mills with his first shot. Terry Mills, who has the good touch from the outside, from the baseline. And the Knicks lead is now 25-23. Foul committed as Curry was trying to get position on Mason, so Michael Curry is called for his second. And now Curry will sit down, replaced by Grant Hill.
Curry on a 10-day contract wanted to convince his coach that he could play physically against the rough and tough Knicks. You know, a lot of Doug's pregame chatter before the game preparing his team about the Knicks is physical play. They're going to be very tough on you. So Curry, a new guy, wants to impress his coach, and I would say he did to a degree.
Anthony Mason giving the Knicks a 26-23 lead. Knicks back here on Wednesday to go up against the Bullets. They've won 2 of 3 against the Bullets. That'll be followed by the All-Star break, while the Pistons home for Orlando on Wednesday prior to the break. Hunter for 3. He's been hitting the 3-point shot. In fact, he is the best 3-point shooter on the Pistons.
Just show another example of Mason's good defense. Hill tried to crossover dribble, and it didn't work. Mason was right there.
Oakley with the save. Smith. Open shot missed by Smith, who's hearing it from the crowd. Here's Dumars. The Knicks 27 and the Pistons 25. Dumars has 6 points.
Once again, Charles Smith trying to become more of an offensive force here for the Knicks, alternating inside outside, and he just doesn't seem to be rocking against the Pistons down low, but he finally hits one from the perimeter, which he needed.
Charles getting the Charles Oakley treatment of several years ago, where fans would say no, no, and Charles Smith felt good about that one because he was able to line drive at home. Knicks lead by 4. Hill tried to squeeze his way and succeeded. 5 points for Grant Hill. Knicks 29, Pistons 27. Oh, Mason spinning to the basket, but the pass got away from Oakley. Mills. And Mason with the rebound. Hubert Davis with a pretty move off the dribble. And a loose ball foul charged to Mason. Timeout called by the Knicks. Knicks by 2. 6:03 left in the half. Well, early we cited Linda Fiorentino, one of the stars of The Last Seduction. Photo opportunity for Linda, who is a couple of seats away from supermodel Tyra Banks, featured on the Sports Illustrated swimsuit cover. part of the scene here, John, at the Garden. Terry Mills firing from three-point range. Knicks with a 29-27 lead on the Pistons. 5:40 remaining in the first half. Pull it pass, but Oakley threw it back. And Smith not able to hit. Nice save, though, and here come the Pistons.
It appeared Oakley had a layup opportunity.
Dumars, Mills with the rebound. And Oakley with the steal. Patrick Ewing is back. Ewing, Smith, and Oakley up front. Here's Davis for three. Gilbert Davis extends to a 32-27 lead. Gilbert had only one three-point opportunity yesterday against the Pacers and did not hit it. Foul committed by Smith. Allen Houston back, replacing Lindsey Hunter. And Gilbert, the last 4 games, 11 of 14 from downtown, averaging better than 14 points per game. We are just under 5 minutes to go in the half. Mills, and hit on a reach-in. Oakley trying to knock it away, but the foul called. It's on Ward. And Terry Mills to the line with the Knicks over the foul limit. Terry Mills has dropped his weight considerably. He was up 285, dropped down to about 250. Has become more serious, as you have, John, about the off-season weight training program. And speaking on behalf of all of us here at MSG, we're very pleased for you.
Well, the only bad part of it for Mills is he's getting less time, and he's scoring 8 a game versus 16 last year, 17 the year before. And I don't think he's convinced that Doug Collins that he has the toughness that Collins wants on the court every night.
Knicks with a 3-point lead as Ewing sets up against the double team. There's Ward for 3. And Ratliff on the rebound.
There are so many occasions when Charlie Ward seems to force a shot. That was one of them.
Ward skying for that rebound. And Ward trying to give it up. Foul is called. Pushing foul against the Pistons. Foul on Mills. Patrick Ewing going over to give Charlie a big high five. Like the move on the penetration.
You don't see Patrick make outward gestures that much in the direction of his teammates. That was noteworthy.
So Charlie Ward getting the playing time after sitting out the last 2 games. Don Nelson had him in the 8-man rotation, but did not play him at all against Orlando and Indiana. Charlie is now 11 of 18 at the free throw line.
Overall picture of Charlie Ward as far as his grades, now that we're at the halfway point of the season, is that the Knicks are very pleased with his development and are considering him a person of value to this franchise for time to come.
Here's Otis Thorpe, who just checked back in. Oh, a high arcing turnaround shot by Otis Thorpe, and the Knicks now lead 34-31. Ewing with the head fake. Beautiful fake on Ratliff, but broken up. Good help by Dumars. Knicks have 14 on the shot clock. Derek Harper replacing Charlie Ward, and Charlie hears the applause. Sitting down with 6 points, 3 rebounds. Oakley. And a loose ball foul call. Ward also collected 2 assists. So a nice job for Charlie Ward. Charles Oakley to the line. Grant Hill committing his 2nd foul.
Charles had a rather quiet game yesterday in Indiana. 11 points, 6 rebounds, 4 out of 10 from the field against that tough front line of Derek McKee and Dale Davis. Boy, McKee had some game yesterday, didn't he, Marv?
Got off fast, provided a jump start to the Pistons, or rather to the Pacers. And the Knicks just not able to handle Derek McKee. 10 of 13, 21 points. He was the high man for Indiana. Knicks with a 36-31 lead with 3:35 to go in this first half. Knicks trying to make it 4 straight wins here at home after losing 5 of the previous 7 at the Garden. Thorpe call for a travel. Lee Jones right on the scene.
Terrific helping defense by the Knicks. Charles Oakley came out for the steal, missed the steal, and Ewing was right there on Thorpe. Gave him no room.
Very slow moving first half. Get the whistle. Doug Collins complaining.
Isolation violation.
Called isolation violation against the Knicks. That's one we have not heard. Didn't call it an illegal defense. Didn't call a foul. We'll have to check that one out.
Well, that might be 3 or more players above the top of the circle on one side of the court.
It's the rookie official Scott Foster made the call.
I'm turning the pages on that one. Knicks might have had too many people on one side of the court with one player all alone. NBA doesn't want to see one-on-one basketball.
Just under 3 minutes to go in the first half. And the Knicks lead 36-31. Ewing facing a double team. Shot clock down to 2. Oakley. Nice job by Oakley. Had trouble teeing it up. Ball slipped away, but was able to get the grip and hit the shot. So it's a 7-point Knick lead. Houston. Oakley came over to help. And Ewing with the rebound. John checking the rule book. If the offensive team positions 3 or more players above the tip of the circle on the weak side, a violation shall be called. Loss of ball awarded to the opponent, and it is an isolation violation. You are correct. Well, very nice.
The NBA doesn't want to see super one-on-one players. That was Allen Houston on that long bomb. Doesn't want to see exclusive one-on-one play, and that's why that rule was created, to avoid the super one-on-one players taking over the game time and again.
I saw the call in a game last week. It's one we haven't seen all season involving the Knicks. Ewing rejected on the reverse. And here's Thorpe putting the move on Smith and then got himself in trouble. Bad play by Otis Thorpe. Oakley. Charles Oakley taking it to the hoop. And a foul is called. You don't like to see Charles galloping with the ball, and he's very fortunate that he got the foul call. It was picked up by Dumars. We'll be right back. Thank you, Al. And Magic is a free agent after this season, which adds to the complications. He was a part owner of the Lakers, but I would think we'll have to see how far the Lakers are able to go, what kind of season Magic has in terms of what his future will be. Also, after the season, there is the feeling that he may have a shot at helping to recruit Shaquille O'Neal, which would be an interesting combination for the LA Lakers. So there are all kinds of interesting possibilities out in LA.
Fascinating development. Meanwhile, his impressive performance against Utah was noteworthy last night. 21 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists.
Nice move by Houston, and the Knicks lead 39-36. Yes, that was his best all-around game. He opened up, surprising everyone in that first game against Golden State. Then the disappointment against the Bulls on the part of Magic and the Lakers on Friday night, but very strong outing against Utah.
Yes, in a win for the Lakers, of course. And he just continues to march along. Fascinating. I guess one of the key things, Marv, is keeping his legs healthy and the hamstrings healthy, areas where he's had some problems before. The hamstrings, anyway.
Oh, Patrick Ewing with the jump hook. 8 points for Ewing. The Knicks 41 and the Pistons 36. 40 seconds left first half. Foul committed by Davis. Houston was trying to cut. He's tied up by Davis. Knicks over the foul limit, so Allen Houston will shoot 2. Allen Houston, who possesses one of the prettier jump shots in the NBA. Terry Mills back for Otis Thorpe. Allen Houston also an excellent finisher. He added 8 inches to his vertical leap over the course of the offseason, working with the strength coach Arnie Kander.
That is unbelievable. That's a tremendous improvement.
Knicks lead by 3. Ewing is fouled. Theo Ratliff looking to block every shot opportunity, but it was Houston who was called for the foul.
I remember several years ago, Marv, when I was in college, Johnny Bach, who was coaching Fordham at the time.
Several years ago? Let's get back to that point of reference before we go any further.
It was, but he was one of the early believers in usage of weights to increase vertical leap, and I lived it. It worked. I mean, really, certain exercises you do with weights on your back, and you can really increase your vertical leap. But 8 inches is unbelievable.
Now, does this mean you went from 1 to 2 inches?
Better than that. Better than that. Not good enough to make it in the NBA, that's for sure.
Johnny Bach ahead of his time.
Yes, he was.
Still having problems with Starks. John Starks pointing at the clock. He felt it was a 10-second violation. We're down to 5 seconds of the half. Here's Hill with the one-on-one move. And deflected out. Last touch by Mason. Let's see how much time they put on the clock. Right now it shows 0.6 of a second remaining. And they are resetting to 1 second. 22nd timeout has been called with 1 second remaining come playoff time if their big guys remain on the floor. Charles Barkley, Kevin Johnson, Danny Manning. Knicks with a 5-point lead in what has not been a thrilling first half. Detroit likes to hold on to the ball. As a result, they have certainly kept the defensive record, or the points allowed, down. The Knicks are not a club that likes to rush it up court. As a result, we have a 43-38 game with a second remaining in the half. Charlie Ward just came on for Patrick Ewing. Dumars inbounding. Houston gets it off in time. Oh, Don Nelson is very unhappy. You just hate to get beaten with a second remaining on an inbounds pass. Whoa, is he steaming.
What a beautifully executed inbound, however, and to the right man. This is the pleasure of having a 6-foot. You can see Houston coming off a pick, swings around. Oh, why is he allowed to get that basketball? But he can shoot over most people at 6'6". Another look at it now. You'll see Houston come into the picture, and he escapes John Starks and executes a gorgeous shot.
So at the half, it's the Knicks 43 and the Pistons 40. Gus Johnson coming up in a moment at the MSG Sports Desk.
Sensational. Thorpe 6'10" with the thunder on Starks. Ill-advised move by John.
Well, Grant Hill only had, as I said, 5 points. This then his best move of the half.
He's the only player in the league that leads his team in dishing, swishing, bounding, and show that he's not perfect. He leads them in turnovers with 3, but a nice move here down the paint.
Weird game, Clyde. The Pistons come in with no real center to stop Patrick Ewing, but he's only got 10.
Right. This guy is 6'8" guarding him now, so Ewing has no problem shooting over him, but they must get Ewing more involved.
And this did not please Don Nelson. He took Patrick Ewing out, put Charlie Ward in for this last second shot. Here's what happened.
Watch Starks right there. He got picked off. He's the culprit as Houston comes over and drills the jumper. That hurt the Knicks there, gave the Pistons some momentum going into.
Back at Madison Square Garden, the Knicks lead the Detroit Pistons 43-40. We're seated in the front row with Linda Fiorentino.
Is he you too?
Yeah, he's MSG right there.
Right there.
You've been taking a lot of pictures. What's the deal?
I like taking pictures.
What are you focusing on here?
It's not a great game. I mean, it looks like a great game, but there's nothing exciting. But I was at the Lakers-Chicago game last week, so.
This would be a little bit of a letdown. So what are you looking for through the lens?
With my camera? Whatever happened. Something interesting. And it's not this game.
Why don't you throw it to Marv Albert?
Who?
Just say, back to you, Marv.
Back to you, Marv.
Thank you, Linda. I know that was heartfelt. Who?
Pretty critical for a one-time visitor.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, very opinionated young lady. But accurate, I must say.
Well, she's not going to seduce any fans with that kind of talk.
Knicks with a 43-42 lead. And I believe that is Linda's final appearance on MSG Network. Patrick Ewing, 5 of 9 from the field, 12 points. Good answer. Al asks, what are you doing with the camera? She says, taking pictures. Excellent observation. A minute gone by, third quarter. And a reach-in foul on Starks. In the first half, Pistons shot 40%. The Knicks just under 42%. Joe Dumars and Allen Houston at the guards. Mark West, the starting center. At the forwards, Otis Thorpe, Grant Hill. Beautiful move. We talked earlier about the finishing ability of Allen Houston. And the Knicks lead is now 1. Mason, Ewing, Oakley. On the front line, Starks and Harper in the backcourt.
Knicks moving the ball crisply on this sequence.
Starks eluding Houston for the 3. The Knicks 48, the Pistons 44. And Houston fouled by Starks.
The Pistons are a much improved defensive team this year. One of the ways that was manifest was in the first half when the Knicks took only 31 field goal attempts, which is a very low number.
And here is Hill. Grant Hill with only his 3rd field goal. 3 of 7 from the field. He has 7 points.
Of course, those field goal attempts numbers were offset by foul shooting. The Knicks 15 of 20 from the foul line. Knicks really got to the line, and Charles Oakley had the touch on that jump shot after a quiet first half. Charles 1 for 4 from the field in the first half.
Oakley now has 7 points. The Knicks 50. The Pistons 46. West met on the switch by Ewing. Mason isolated against Hill, trying to take him to the hoop. Lost the dribble. Give and go, but Mason not able to get it to Oakley. Here's Dumars. Houston on the follow, it counts, and the foul. So Allen Houston will head to the line. The foul committed by Derek Harper.
Well, Houston on the follow-up there, beautifully done. Pistons get down the court well. Joe Dumars on a little bit of a delay, and Houston comes in, also goes to the foul line and hits his foul shot.
So the Knicks lead 50-49. Allen Houston is the high point man with 16. Starks for 3. John Starks continues to show signs the last 3 games. It began with his play against Orlando last Thursday, although he had the fiery situation, offensive foul to call. He had the explosion yesterday against the Pacers. Again, did a lot of good things out there, and today he has hit 4 of 5 from the field. He has 11 points. Knicks by 4. And rebound one-handed by Thorpe. Knicks get back on the transition, although rarely will you see the Pistons look to run. Mason trying to close off the move to the left. Call for his third foul.
Did it with the left hand too, tucked in at his waist level, trying to move the elusive Grant Hill away from his drive to the basket. Pistons want to spread the court out and let this man freewheel as he does right there.
So the Knicks now lead 53-51. Starks now being played by Michael Curry, who was very physical in his brief appearance in the first half. Played 4 minutes. Here's Starks for 3. And Curry gets down court. So Michael Curry, who is in the midst of a 10-day contract in the absence of the injured Mark Macon, ties the game at 53.
Very discouraging if you take the long shot. That's Charles Oakley on the finish, as John Starks did a moment ago, and you can't cover the backcourt. Why, that's a responsibility you let slide through your hands.
Dumars. Good play by Oakley to punch it away from West, and look out, here comes Oakley flying into the crowd. He's all right. And the Pistons recapture.
We felt the aftershocks here at the other end of the table, didn't we?
Charles all right, but Greg Kelser, the former NBA player and college star who was doing color for the Pistons, may not have recovered from the contact from Oakley. Here's Hopper. He had Starks wide open on the right, but did not see him. Looking to do it to Curry off the dribble. Game has get the feeling the tone has gone to the Detroit Pistons. They have taken command as Curry hits the jump shot, and he's tied it at 55, and things have turned here in the third quarter.
Too much one-on-one play by the Knicks. John Starks hit a couple, and he shot again about 3 or 4 times down court now. The Knicks, with the exception of Oakley's jump shot, are exchanging the ball, and then the outside people are pumping up long jump shots. Knicks have to be reintroduced to Patrick Ewing.
The Detroit Pistons have not led the Knicks at any time this season. The 2 previous games, which were won by the Knicks, had the lead right throughout. And here we're tied at 55, and the Knicks have led from the opening tip. Ewing. Yes. So the Knicks take the lead 57-55.
Well, Ewing made it clear to John Starks he wanted that ball. He had his arms outstretched after getting position. Grant Hill once again initiating the offense out high.
Thorpe. And back comes Starks. Ewing. West did not come out to play Ewing. And Ewing now with 16 has extended to a 4-point Knick lead.
Boy, not many assists in the first half, Marv. We're not seeing much at all. You know that, excuse me, I was talking about assists. Both teams had 9. I was refocusing on offensive rebounding. Both teams not doing much in that department. Knicks had 2 in the first half.
And a loose ball foul on West. Timeout is called. 5:14 remaining.
Charles Oakley getting that loose ball, and he doesn't quit until MSG Network's John Gallagher softens the blow as Charles was headed to the floor. Nice going, John.
John was just told, you're okay.
Another look at Charles Oakley's commitment. Oh, finding a loose basketball. Yes, I'm okay. The New York Marriott Marquis, Broadway's biggest hit.
John's attorneys will be in touch with Mr. Oakley's tomorrow morning. Knicks 59 and the Pistons 55. 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Ewing with the drop step. 18 for Patrick Ewing. The Knicks lead by 6 points.
Well, the message should be quite clear to Knicks teammates of Patrick Ewing. Give him the ball and he'll score the points.
Ewing is 4 for 4 from the field in this third quarter. 4. And back comes Starks. Ewing feeling it, yes, and it counts. As Mark West commits his 4th.
Mark West's raison d'etre, his reason to be in the NBA,
I beg your
his
pardon?
defense.
Yes.
And he is just not getting it done here with Patrick Ewing. He's trying, but I don't think Doug Collins feels that he's trying hard enough. And as I say that, we see Mark West in a rather passive departure, heading back to the bench.
So the Knicks with an 8-0 run, the 8 points scored by Ewing, and they lead 63-55. Dumars lost it, and Harper with the one-bounce lead for Starks. The Knicks have opened up a 10-point lead, and Doug Collins wants to talk it over. Timeout taken by the Pistons. One-time Giant, one-time Milwaukee Brave. His picture just went up on the on guard vision, and I don't think anyone picked it up. Except you, John, as we were sweeping the crowd.
He looks terrific, doesn't he? The shot heard around the world in 1951. Bobby Thompson hit the home run that beat the Dodgers. What a historic moment.
Derek Harper from downtown. So the Knicks with a 13-0 run, and they lead 68-55. 22nd timeout called. Doug Collins is furious. Doug Collins very upset.
Doug Collins, as a former very successful player, knows any letdown against a team like the Knicks is so costly. That strip by the Knicks converging on Dumars and everybody else trying to get down the middle, and the Knicks are playing with tremendous energy in this game. Joe Dumars being worked on at the bench. Joe hobbled this season from several games with nagging injuries. Seems to be hobbled again.
Dumars replaced by Lindsey Hunter. That's Hunter with it. Joe Dumars says Doug Collins is the most intense coach that he's ever been around. Hunter had it knocked away, and a reach-in foul called against Harper. So the Knicks are over the foul limit. 3:13 remaining in this third quarter. The Knicks leading 68-55, able to break it open with this 13-point run. Hunter, a 71% free throw shooter. Lindsey Hunter has made it back from a broken foot. He missed 41 games last season. Played the last 2 months of the year, but never got over the injury mentally. And has been a starter every game up until tonight, but Doug Collins shaking things up. Joe Dumars in the starting lineup along with Mark West. Ewing. And a 3-second violation of the call.
Talk about Doug's intensity, Marv. However, his intensity has reaped some rewards. When you look at this team, as we were mentioning earlier, they're 15 games ahead of where they were last season and at this time in terms of wins. Last couple of years they've been out rebounded by their opponents on the average. This year they're out rebounding their opponents and doing several other things that make for better basketball.
Here is Hill. Nice look. Finding Ratliff. Theo Ratliff breaking the 13-0 run by the Knicks.
What he did in the air, though, makes him special. He didn't just throw a straight pass. He had to hook the pass at the end of the move, and he did it successfully as Charles Oakley hits another jumper successfully.
Prior to that basket by Ratliff, the Pistons had gone 3 minutes 55 seconds without a point. Pushing foul. Foul on Ewing. That is his second. Patrick Ewing in this third quarter is 5 for 5 for 10 of his 20 points. 9 of 13 for the game. With the Knicks over the limit again, free throw opportunities for the Pistons. So Otis Thorpe will shoot a pair.
Take a look at the last basket by the Pistons, moving the ball on the perimeter. There's a suggestion of the old weave. I say the old weave, how basketball used to be played, but that was Grant Hill on the beautiful pass inside for that hoop. Weave used to break down the defense by the constant exchange of the ball out top of the circle.
The Knicks 70 and the Pistons 58. Pistons last year gave up nearly 106. Oh, that almost worked. Pistons last year gave up almost 106 points per game. They have allowed only 93 points per game this season. That's second in the NBA, but certainly the way they play, they walk it up, they control the tempo, they slow it down. Doug Collins does not have the toys that he would like, so he has to slow the game down. And as a result, the Detroit Pistons allow only 93 points per game.
Yes, he doesn't have reliable upfront offensive players and dominating rebounders.
Ewing with the block. And here's it from the crowd. 2 on the shot clock for the Pistons.
He's redoing this franchise with half the players this year, first-year players with the Pistons. So he's redoing the whole scene. And they are a winning team. Last year they were at the bottom of their division. Now they're 4 positions ahead of the bottom teams in their division, in the Central Division, and he has made a visible difference with this franchise.
Well, that's a 24-second violation. Did not hit the rim. So it will be Nick Ball against Detroit at 22 and 21, and they have lost 3 of their last 4 games, coming off a road trip, although they won at San Antonio and in Dallas. Impressive victories last week. Hopper drew the foul. Foul committed by Hunter. Doug Collins watched some video of last year's Detroit Pistons right before the start of the season and made the statement, "This team is soft." He said, "I never thought I'd say that about the Detroit Pistons."
Yes, the toughness tradition changed when Bill Laimbeer retired and Isaiah Thomas retired, and of course the great rebounding strength of Dennis Rodman left Detroit.
So the Knicks with a 72-58 lead. Minute 20 left in the third quarter. Hill. Oh, a foul is called on Reed, colliding with Ewing. Well, Don Reed called for his first. Pistons over the foul limit. So Ewing will go to the line.
Also, Marv, talking about toughness of the Pistons franchise over the years, I don't know how I could have forgotten Ricky Mahorn, who was also a very important part of the success of that team and the toughness quality that they gave game in and game out.
John, you sound like you're beating yourself up on this.
I know, I forgot that. I'm thinking of Rick listening to the game, and of course, there's Don Chaney, a former coach of the Pistons, as well.
Doug Collins taking over for Don Chaney, who is now an assistant on Don Nelson's staff. Do you hear from Rick Mahorn every so often?
Well,
critiques?
When the Nets are here, he usually comes by and gives me a little tap.
Tap.
He's a sweetheart off the court.
The Knicks by 16 with 40 seconds remaining in the third. They double up on Mason, so he gets it out to Starks. Rebound handled by Ratliff. The Knicks trying to make it 8 straight wins over the Pistons here at the Garden. Last time Detroit won at Madison Square Garden was April of 1992. Reed with the save, but it's handled by Oakley.
Oakley's had another major presence on the floor tonight.
Well, this third quarter winding down. Mason lost it. Here's Hunter from center court. After 3, the Knicks 74 and the Detroit Pistons 58. For the fourth quarter, the Knicks leading the Pistons by 16. We have been talking about Detroit head coach Doug Collins, about his intensity, not a guy who looks to sit through losses on a nightly basis, although he has them one game over the 500 mark. But you know that it's very, very difficult for Doug to swallow some of the nights that he has been forced to coach here with Detroit. Michael Kay talked about that with Doug.
Losing is something that we would like to put behind us, that we would like to start winning and starting being respected. And I think we're starting to gain respect in the league. I think that when teams play us, they know that we're going to come out and be prepared. We're going to play hard, and if they let us hang around, we got a chance to beat them. Our better years are ahead of us. At the end of this year, I'd like to be able to say that our younger players have gotten better, that the future is bright, and that this was a very positive year in terms of developing our young people.
Marvin, in another conversation I had with Doug on this subject, as Ewing works his way into a foul shooting situation on their first visit here in late December, Doug went on to say part of his speech to his team is that growth and change is painful, but we're all accountable from top to bottom on the roster and the coaching staff, so we'll win and lose together. That's the kind of stuff that he talks to his team about, as well as his assistant Alvin Gentry, who we see sitting next to him. Alvin, who had a shot at a head coaching job with Miami last year. Now he's working with Doug, but Doug is a very committed guy to the sport and to the franchise.
Knicks with a 75-61 lead, and then a foul away from the ball. Now it's called on Harper. Call for a hand check. Does not like the call. That's 3 on Derek Harper. A 13-0 run by the Knicks, sparked by Patrick Ewing, who hit his first 5 shots in the third quarter, has opened this game up. Curry digging hard, and he is fouled.
Doug Collins is giving Curry quite a run for a 10-day contract guy. Just getting in and getting a lot of playing time in this game tonight.
Foul committed by Oakley. We talked earlier about Michael Curry out of Georgia Southern. He has played in the past, although briefly, with the Bullets and the 76ers. It's only his 3rd game with the Pistons. Derek Harper sitting down, replaced by Hubert Davis. Harper with 8 points. Knicks lead 75-63 with a minute gone by in the fourth quarter. Mason being guarded by Curry. Starks for 3. And the rebound handled by Curry. Reed was tied up and fouled. Hubert Davis preventing the driving shot, called for the foul. And the rookie out of Georgetown, Don Reed, will go to the line. Only a 64% free throw shooter.
Knicks in transition on that sequence, not getting their hands up as they came down court, and that rather long pass got to Reed with no obstructions as shorter. Hubert Davis was the only man near him.
The Knicks 75 and the Pistons 64. Knicks try to bounce back from the loss against the Pacers at Market Square in Indianapolis yesterday. Knicks have won 4 of their last 5 games after they went through that stretch losing 9 of 15.
That was a pretty nice sequence with Charles Oakley bringing the ball up court, delivering that nice pass.
Ewing pulling down his 10th rebound. Ewing looking for position on Ratliff. Davis for 3. Curry for 3. And got the friendly roll, and Michael Curry has done a nice job. 75-67 is down to an 8-point lead, a 9-1 run by the Pistons. Knicks have led by as many as 16. Ewing, wild shot thrown up by Patrick Ewing.
Yes, he went to the left hand rather awkwardly, but it was a good move by him in taking the ball to the basket, because he's not going to be stopped normally.
Reed did not expect the pass from Houston. Charles Smith getting set to return. Three minutes in, fourth quarter. Marv Albert, John Andres, Al Troutwick from Madison Square Garden. Pistons have outscored the Knicks by that margin here in the fourth quarter. Davis to the left hand. And let's see, they'll call jump ball. The officials checking with each other. Jack Neese, Scott Foster, who had the look at it, discuss it. Neither coach happy about it. Doug Collins thought it was batted out by Ewing, and Don Nelson thought it was last touch by the Pistons. Knicks are 0 for 6 from the field in this fourth quarter.
They had an excellent third quarter. Their shooting was, for the first half, at 42%. Then they, for the game, were up at 50% a moment ago.
And now Smith has replaced Oakley. And apparently the substitutions are being discussed, perhaps waved off. Oakley is being waved back onto the court. Are they disallowing the Smith substitution? Bit of confusion here. I tell you, when they settle that officiating lockout, there'll be no problems like this, John.
Jack Neese seemed to be the only one that knew what was going on there.
So the substitution is allowed. And it is last touched by the Knicks.
Meantime, the Knicks need a little life out here now. Once again, there's plenty of time in this game, and the Pistons are almost at the stage where they'll be in position to win the game unless the Knicks spread out this difference.
Well, the chant of defense from the crowd. Curry, having success a moment ago, tries again from downtown. I think Doug Collins is saying to himself, we saw it, it's enough. He got the roll on that earlier three-pointer. Here's the double. Davis for 3. Well, Hubert had missed his previous 3 shots this fourth quarter, but buried the three-pointer, and the Knicks now lead 78-67. Hunter, and rebounded by Mason.
One of the writers covering the Knicks recently referred to Hubert Davis looking like he expects to make every shot when he takes it. Now, you can't help but think you're darn right he does. And he's convinced Don Nelson he expects to make every shot when he takes it.
Shot clock at 5. Starks. And batted out of bounds by Smith. Grant Hill, who received a rest at the start of this fourth quarter, back on, replacing Michael Curry. Seven and a half remaining fourth quarter. Nice move off the dribble by Houston, and he drew the foul. Starks picking up number 4. It is a non-shooting affair, and Hill will throw in. Here comes Derek Harper, replacing John Starks, leads with 13 points.
Harper had an unusual number in the first half in 13 minutes. Didn't have 1 assist. Most unusual.
Hill took the bump from Mason. So that's 4 on Mason. John Starks sitting down with 13 points and 7 assists.
Mason has once again done a terrific job on the leading man for the opposition, in this case Grant Hill.
Grant Hill only 1 of 3 at the line. The Knicks 78 and the Pistons 68.
Knicks trying to set up Mason down low. Ewing and Smith both out high. Now Ewing goes underneath.
And Hubert Davis with another 3. 3 of 4 from downtown. He has 11 points. Houston, the tip, beautifully done. Don Reed. No, Ratliff gets credit. Reed and Ratliff vying for that ball, and Ratliff receiving credit for the basket. 81-70, Knicks by 11. Mason, yes. A nice fadeaway jump by Mason, who is 9, and the Knicks now lead by 13 points. 6.5 remaining in the fourth quarter. Houston teeing it up for 3, and Ewing with the rebound. Davis with a spin, finding Smith. Ewing. Smith could not hold on. And a timeout called by the Knicks. Knicks by 13, 6-14 remaining in the fourth.
Well, the Pistons always have trouble matching up with Patrick Ewing, and there's nothing unusual about this tonight. Once again, the Ewing's dominating West. It's quite explicit in the dominance that Ewing is enjoying over West.
Mark West making the start tonight. Doug Collins had been going with Don Reed. West has played only 13 minutes, and Ewing has also been matched with Reed and Ratliff. Ewing with the block. That's his 3rd of the game. Davis for 3. Ratliff able to keep it away from Mason, and then a traveling violation on Ratliff. So the Knicks will regain possession. We have 5:43 remaining in the fourth quarter. Knicks have led by as many as 16. They are now up by 13 points.
Pistons field goal percentage now down to 39%.
Mason with the pick. Screen and roll, but Harper did not feel Mason was open. Davis, and the rebound handled by Hill. Here's Reed getting down court. Don Reed running the court and cutting it to an 11-point Knick lead.
Nice pass from Grant Hill leading the way.
Patrick Ewing now being guarded by the rookie from Wyoming, Theo Ratliff, who is a bit on the thin side, 6'10", about 220 pounds, primarily a shot blocker. In fact, had more career blocks than anyone in NCAA history except for Alonzo Mourning. Patrick Ewing gets a nice hand as he sits down. Hopper for, that's a 2-pointer, had the foot on the line. Knicks lead 85-74. Ewing had missed his last 4 after hitting 6 straight, but he's the high man with 23 to lead the Knicks. Houston. Allen Houston with 18, and the Knicks have an 11-point advantage.
At 23 rings out as a number that Patrick enjoyed against Orlando last week, but that all came in the first half.
Yes, 10 of 12 in the first half. Then he missed his next 15 shots. A very unusual game for Patrick Ewing. Smith with the shot clock running down, just did brush the front rim, and again, here's the reaction. Hunter, oh, Ratliff able to sky to put it down. The Knicks 85, the Pistons 76. Charles Smith having his problems, 1 of 6 from the field. This game very much in range for the Pistons after the Knicks had opened up the big lead, but Hubert Davis extends to an 87-76 Knick lead.
Nice team reaction to Hubert Davis, setting that pick for him.
Houston trying to shake off Davis and fouled. He was held. So for Hubert Davis, his 3rd personal. Knicks are over the limit. And obviously Doug Collins likes what he has seen from Michael Curry. He is back on the floor, coming on for Lindsey Hunter.
Looks like Joe Dumars failed the test tonight, not on the court that much here in the second half. Joe supposedly had his best practice in 3 months on Sunday, but just couldn't get into the groove here tonight.
The Knicks by 9. We are down to 3:20 remaining in the 4th quarter. Davis guarded by Houston. Ratliff on the rebound. Curry tried to squeeze his way, and it was knocked out of bounds by the Knicks. Ewing getting set to return. And he'll replace Charles Smith.
It seemed that everything Charles tried to do tonight, that kind of moves that gets attention, didn't work. And he did participate successfully in the defensive presence of the Knicks, but when it came to his individual moves, he just had a very frustrating evening once again.
This is a NBA career high for Michael Curry. He has 11 points, and the Knicks lead 87-80. We're just under 3 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter. Pick and roll. Mason could not put it down. Nice lead, Houston, for Reed, and it is suddenly a 5-point game. Knicks have led by as many as 16, a 10-2 run by the Pistons. And Reed has done a good job. 9 points, 5 rebounds. Here's Davis to the left hand. Hubert Davis with 15.
You notice how Don Nelson, I felt the timeout coming, you know, for the Knicks. Let it go. Didn't call it.
Instead, it is Detroit calling for time. 2:22 remaining in the 4th.
Offensive rebounding of Theo Ratliff, who came in a moment ago for a big slam dunk.
Knicks have an 89-82 lead on Detroit. Houston, he forced the shot and was fortunate to draw the foul. Allen Houston will go to the line. Foul on Ewing, his 3rd. Allen Houston is 5 for 5 from the line. 2:12 remaining in this 4th quarter. But a very solid game for Houston.
One of Doug Collins' challenges with Houston, who's a tremendous jump shooter, was to not make him only a stand-up jump shooter, as Doug put it. So he's trying to get him to drive that ball to the basket more.
Knicks 89, Pistons 84. Mason being played by Curry. And we get a foul called against the Pistons. Reed, that is his second. And for the Pistons, their first in the final 2 minutes. So the next one will put them over the limit. Knicks are over the foul limit. Ewing working on Ratliff. Harper for three. An important possession here for the Pistons, down by 5. Hill for Reed. Oh, Don Reed has hurt the Knicks in the second half. He has 11 points in all. The Knicks lead is only 3. They've led by 16. A minute and a half remaining in the fourth quarter. Harper. Now, I don't know why he took that shot. Lots of time on the possession.
Not with Ewing's dominance on the court.
And it is now a 1-point lead off the beautiful move by Houston. A 16-4 run by the Pistons, and the Knicks take a timeout.
Grant Hill driving the court a moment ago finds Don Reed wide open under the basket for a slam dunk. The intensity level has switched in favor of the Pistons. Allen Houston goes down, crossover dribble, then goes back to the middle and finds his way to the hoop over Patrick Ewing, and we have a 1-point game.
Pistons have outscored the Knicks 30-15 in the fourth quarter. Certainly unacceptable from the Knicks point of view, particularly that they have been talking about their defensive effort with great pride. 30-15 advantage. Detroit 9 of 16 from the field. The Knicks 6 of 23 in this fourth quarter. Knicks with a 1-point lead in that last possession. A rush shot by Harper hurt, and the Pistons were able to take advantage. We are approaching a minute remaining in the fourth. Ewing, yes! Big shot by Patrick Ewing. Knicks lead by 3.
And a very difficult shot by Ewing.
Crossover move by Hill to set it up for Curry. I don't think that's what Doug Collins had in mind for Michael Curry to take that shot. And then Curry commits the foul.
But Doug doesn't jump all over him, recognizing him as a new member of the team. Doesn't want to crush the guy.
Curry called for the foul. Both teams are over the limit. And Charles Oakley, who has had an excellent season at the line, will shoot 2. Charles 3 of 4 tonight.
One of the qualities of this young Detroit Pistons team that has Collins excited. Ewing responding to an accusation by Doug Collins of traveling, and Patrick went over and straightened him out, obviously. But the Pistons love the fact that 19 of the first 21 games, they were within 2 points with at the 2 or 3 minute mark. Thanks to Patrick Ewing, they have a little breathing room now at the Knicks end of the floor. Knicks have a 4-point lead now with a shade under a minute left. Here's a look at the Ewing basket. You can see everybody converge on Ewing, but they don't have anybody that can go up as high as he is, and he got a good look at the basket. Made that jump shot. Doug Collins thought Patrick Ewing was at the advantage of an extra step.
I think Doug was accurate. He shuffled his feet before he took the shot. Patrick Ewing with an affectionate slap in the direction of Doug Collins.
Doug showed superstar respect in the direction of Ewing, I must say.
Knicks by 4, 51 seconds remaining in this fourth quarter. Pistons with 2 timeouts left. Knicks with 2 and a 20. And Charles Oakley will shoot his second free throw. The Knicks trying to make it 5 straight. 11 of the last 12 in the win column against the Pistons. And the Knicks have won 7 straight here at the Garden against Detroit.
You know, Marv, Collins is no fool either. He knows how happy he is for his team to be where it is right now, with the likes of Ratliff and Reed and Curry on the floor against the New York Knicks.
Knicks have a 5-point lead. Down to 40 seconds to go. Houston for 3. And Reed and Oakley battle for it. Reed try to save it. It'll be Knick ball. Charles scattering people at the other end. Caused some commotion earlier tonight at the near side of the court. And tries the far side. Foul given immediately. So Hill giving that foul with 34 seconds to go.
Another look at the intensity of Charles Oakley, how it shows throughout the game. Charles in pursuit of that basketball, along with Don Reed. Another table falls and gets rocked by Charles.
Hopper 3 for 3 at the line. So the Knicks lead is now 6. They led by as many as 16 in the third quarter, but a good run by the Pistons. 16-4 stretch got them back into it. 34 and 4/10 seconds to go. Head coach, University of Massachusetts, ranked #1 in the nation, John Calipari, who we showed you earlier. But John, check this out. Diagramming plays on his leg. You can kind of feel nice, actually. Follow the ball, left, right. Now that's how you get to be #1. There it is. There's the high post.
Most coaches
off the screener.
use napkins, Marv, but there wasn't a napkin handy.
Yeah. UMass here at the Garden to take on your Rams of Fordham tomorrow night. And that is a 3 for Terry Mills. Knicks lead 95-91. Foul again given by Hill, which will send Hopper to the line with 27 and 9/10 seconds to go in this fourth quarter.
One thing I guarantee about that tilt tomorrow night, Marv, the Rams will show up.
Yeah, they will. They will show up.
And they'll compete.
Derek Hopper is 4 for 4 at the line. Knicks now lead 96-91. Knicks trying to make it 4 straight wins at home after going through that problem stretch. And again, a timeout taken by Detroit. The Knicks lead 97-91. We'll be right back. Knicks with a 6-point lead, 27 and 9/10 seconds remaining in this fourth quarter. A moment ago, Allen Houston able to kick it out to the corner to Terry Mills. Hit the 3. He has been a 3-point specialist down the stretch. November 26th, it was Mills with this clutch shot from downtown that beat Houston at the buzzer. And then last week in San Antonio, it was Mills again with a 3 with time running down that gave the Pistons an 85-84 victory over the San Antonio Spurs.
That was the second time in 6 days that the Pistons had beaten San Antonio. Obviously sweeping the season series between the East and Western Conference foes.
Foes. You like that word. You know, you've used that several times. Foes. No one else uses that word. Here's Mills for 3. Mills for 2. And put back up by Reed. We're down at 13 seconds. And Curry diving for it, kicked it out of bounds. It's a headline writer's word. Foe.
I do read a lot of papers.
Yes. Knicks by 6. And they just hope to run it out. Davis gets it across. Pistons incidentally use their final timeout. And that will wrap it. So the Pistons challenged in the fourth quarter, but the Knicks able to hold on with a good rush, good finish. And they make it 3 out of 3 against Detroit. this season. 4 straight at home, a record of 29-16. Overall, the Knicks now have won 5 of their last 6 games. And the Detroit Pistons at 22-22, so they are back at the 500 mark. The Knicks 97 and the Pistons 91. We'll be back in a moment.
デトロイトピストンズの下したゲームお伝えしました。さあそして両チームの上位の選手の成績をポイントでご覧いただきましょう。ピストンズの方はヒューストンが頑張った、ソープも良かった、ヒルがこんな下の方にいるんですよね。
これじゃあゲームにならないですね。
結局13の4しかフィールドゴールは今日ヒルを決めることができませんでした。そしてこちらニックスの方はなんといってもこれユーイング。
まあユーイングはこの力あるんですけどね、デイビスがこんなにやるとはね。
ああそうですね、
はい、これがやっぱりいい方の子さんでしょうね。
そうですね、